Hi, everybody. Welcome to AITA Pod. I'm Danny Vega, joined by Shannon D and Jake Davis.
Hello.
Howdy from the desert.
We are on our AITA retreat, or having the time of
the month.
Oh, little period action.
Well, I guess that is what they call that.
I'm calling someone out here. I don't know which one of you it was, but I went over there to the bathroom after we had our little discussion about toilet seat up. We all agreed that toilet seat down was the best way to go. Little do I know, I go to the bathroom and the toilet seat's up.
The toilet seat was down when I went in there last because I used it sitting down.
I put it down.
Well, how would it be me?
Put
It's
it
obviously
down.
not me.
I don't know.
Shannon's
You're
fucking-
a
Shannon's
suspect,
fucking
Shannon.
with us.
You've done other things. I don't know what it is.
You have proven to be an expert of psyops already.
That's
so
true.
This could be.
And my
Yeah.
gargoyle move might be that. So I have
Oh
more, I
God!
have more
Are you pissing in the
bowl.
sink here too? We
Well,
don't
actually,
want
because we
that.
only have one bathroom, I was like, I might need to be pissing in the
Oh
sink.
my
Gotta claim it.
God! Literally, she's like,
claim it.
knock knock. Okay, pissing in the sink now. Okay, I gotta pee now. Did you do this, Shannon?
Not yet.
No. Did you put the seat up
No.
to make Jake and I create some kind of
Last
issue
time I was in
here?
that bathroom, I know that seat was down because I used the sit down bathroom.
And it's your
I
testimony
used the sit
today,
down right after too.
Jake. It's your testimony that you put the seat down after
did.
putting it up.
Yeah.
When? Like
And is
just
it your,
right now?
When I went to the bathroom this morning,
Oh, this morning.
the seat was up. Shannon, is it your testimony today that you did not put that seat up?
I did not put that seat up.
You know, this leaves us with only one option.
Me?
Ghosts.
Oh, ghost. Yeah, no, it
Ghost.
was a ghost.
Ghost.
It was a
Ghost.
desert
It was a
ghost.
ghost,
It was a
yeah.
desert
I
Do
ghost.
you
think-
think it's a friendly ghost?
Yeah, I know. I mean, look at this place. This is like clearly a very friendly Airbnb ghost house. It's a ghost house.
Ooh, can I go to the park with you guys? No, motherfucker.
No, you're bound here for your sins.
You're creating conflict between us. Put the toilet seat down. You heard the discussion. Well, I had some points to make too. Fuck you, ghost.
Yeah, they were on your side about the matter.
Oh, they're a toxic masculine ghost.
That's why they're bound to this house.
Fine. Maybe we can teach them the ways, and then they can go up to the other place
Or down. Really depends.
Oh, now we're talking about heaven or hell.
Well, we're letting them,
where we
we're
are?
releasing them of their duties down on Earth because
Ooh,
they
I
get
like it
trapped
here.
here.
I like it here.
What kind of ghost would y'all be? Would you be like super scary, or would you just kind of?
I think I would like fuck with them.
Yeah.
You get eternity, so I think I would open on some scare years, really get my scares in, and then I would move towards social activism
It's
after
like
that.
it's like working at a job. Like you come in for the first 6 months, you're super gung ho.
Yeah.
And by the time you learn the ropes, you're not the new person anymore. It's just
Listen,
like,
Jake, you're on new ghost here. Okay, listen, we tell everyone start with scares.
Okay.
Don't get greedy and
Yeah.
start to put your political agenda in motion.
Well, I was thinking I wanted to open. I focused on
Yeah.
this in ghost school. I want to open with bleeding walls. Open with
Oh, we love bleeding.
Oh,
Bleeding
yeah.
walls, very standard.
Bleeding walls.
Very standard.
Then I'm gonna move to this move where they wake up one morning, all the mirrors are turned around.
Oh,
in the house.
that's actually, we got to get a contract there for stuff like that. But we can budget for that.
I
We've
feel
got-
like, you know,
we got a good budget this year.
Maybe even open with the mirror flipperoo.
Yeah.
And here's the big finish for the scares.
Here
Big
we go.
finish for the scares.
Here we go.
I get they got a kid, right? I start telling the kid about their dead grandmother.
Oh
that they
my
never
God,
met.
Jake.
So suddenly the kid's got details about somebody that they've never met. And it's not their grandma. It's it's hostile information. It's
Wow.
bad information, like how she stole money from the church.
Okay, Jake, we're gonna
my
send you to GI actually
What? Oh, I'm
ghost
sorry.
resources because you're going too far.
Is this a
You're
ghost? Is this a ghost company
you're
or is
go-
this a joke?
You're gonna cause an interdimensional problem with this
Wait, so are you
insanity.
the ghost that lived here first, and he's the new ghost?
I'm the
You have to show him
manager. I'm
the
the
manager of the
manager.
cows.
Dispatch.
I've been a ghost.
Dispatch the ghost to the
I've
house.
been a ghost for so long.
okay.
Do you know this? I actually knew the ghost of the guy who killed Lincoln. He came through here.
John Wilkes Booth?
He came through here. Yeah.
that rat bastard.
I just feel like the organization needs to go in a bold new direction. We can't keep doing the same spookies, We
Yeah.
gotta mix it up.
Yeah, we got to spook it up. Speaking of spooks, I was actually with you guys last night. I seen you guys ordered Denny's.
Yeah.
So this is true.
We did.
We wanted
thought-
to chill. We wanted to get delivery and not go. So we hop on here. We're in the small town, 29 Palms. We go on to Postmates, and there's the Burger Den. The Burger Den.
Sounds nice and local.
Sounds great. Let's go to the Burger Den.
And the menu looked amazing.
There's all kinds of the onion burger and whatever. They had all these names.
The onion burger?
What was it called? It was the smash onion burger.
Mushroom and Swiss.
Oh, no, it was
caramelized
mushroom
onion.
mushroom vibes.
Mushroom
vibes.
Right, yeah.
So who discovered that it wasn't actually a burger?
You tried
den?
to call them, and it was welcome to
It
Denny's.
said welcome to Denny's, and you guys didn't quite hear it. I was like, did that just say Denny's?
I didn't clock it at
And
all.
the look on Danny's face when it repeated, "Thank you for calling Denny's." You were betrayed.
Yeah.
You were shocked.
It's
A
just
lot of places do this though because they know people don't want to order from Denny's. So like
Yeah.
on Postmates or Grubhub, they put that it's
Yeah.
something else. And honestly, the Burger Den, pretty clever.
And you know what they call that? A ghost kitchen. That was my previous job. I ran
we got there.
ghost kitchens. That's true.
right.
I think they've rebranded it to virtual kitchen now, which is like fuck
Ghost
that.
Kitchen's
Call it
so
Ghost
much
Kitchen.
cooler. Yeah, call it
I like
Ghost
it.
Kitchen.
We're not insulting the ghosts. Maybe we are.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We've
But
had
I
a-
have one gripe for them.
The Burger Den.
Yeah.
This is criminal.
They didn't include ketchup.
Burger. We ordered 3 burgers, 2 with
And French
fries, and 1
fries.
with fruit. Yeah, I'm on my health game. I'm vegetarian at home, Jake. Did you know that?
It's come up.
Wow, he is like upset. The longness of his face. He turned into a horse for a second. How long his face got.
Horse.
Yeah, no, it was criminal. I did go
No,
hard, guys. I did go hard. I gave him
ketchup.
2. I gave him. These guys wanted me to leave 3 stars. I gave
Well,
2.
because the burgers were really
I gave
good.
2.
I
The
think
burgers were-
2 was ridiculous.
The burgers were good, but like,
Oh, I thought they were
Really?
amazing.
Oh, really?
I mean, I was,
you can't
I
make
was high, but I thought they
you
were
can't
good
make
as hell.
a medium rare burger for me, Denny's. There's no
Yeah, but
customization.
the toppings were amazing.
Yeah, you're right. The bacon was
But
good.
no, there was no, you couldn't add anything. And my fries were very cold, extremely bland, with no ketchup.
Yeah, but you picked wavy cut fries at Denny's. You
I
dug
didn't
your own
know.
grave on
You
that.
should.
You
This
played
is your
yourself.
problem because you didn't tell me.
Look, I'm not going to tell a woman how to order her fries, all right? That's not for me to decide.
That's
it's your,
toxic
Yeah.
your
masculinity.
fries.
That's true,
toxic
that's
But
true.
masculinity.
yeah, the wavy cut fries at Denny's are basically just like, they're like a potato that's been cut into fourths.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
just
yeah,
barely
yeah.
cooked.
Yeah, they were also
Potato quarters.
undercooked too. Like they weren't well done, and the well done fries are where it's at.
Yeah, I love a crispy, crunchy
No,
fry.
I did get the seasoned fries, and they were much better. That's a pretty solid option.
We do not
Yes.
endorse Denny's, though.
We
do
can't give them the pod
endorse
plug.
The
We
Denny's.
can't.
They seem
we
to be
just
doing
did.
okay.
I was really happy with the breakfast burger choice because they wound up being Denny's, so it was just Denny's breakfast foods.
Yeah,
on
yeah,
top
that
of a
you're right. The
burger, so
bacon.
that
No,
was
she's
pretty
right. The
clutch.
bacon topping was fire. It had a
was
little bit of
great.
crisp. And shout out to Shannon who split a burger with me, so we got to get 2 different
was
kinds of
cute.
Yeah, we got 2
burgers.
different
I love varieties of the
kinds.
spice of life, baby.
And I
Me
did,
too,
I
and they
did
were
give
both
Shannon
amazing.
some of my fries.
Yes.
So I
Jake,
did
that
say.
is so
Because I couldn't eat my
kind.
fries. They
That
were
is
so
so- wouldn't have
bland.
ketchup.
And fries are my favorite food in the world, so you know if I'm not eating my fries, there's a problem.
Bad
Wow.
fries are such a bummer.
know.
It's just such a disappointment.
Well, and we were just talking about this yesterday on the way here that the air fryer has become a game changer for leftover French fries. We should have packed that.
Yeah.
Because I could be eating my French fries nice and pretty.
Yeah, no, the
For
air
breakfast.
fryer's game changer. We got some dates here. I'm doing some stand up. June 30th, Henderson, Nevada. July 1st, Superior, Arizona. August 10th, Woodinville, Washington. August 11th, Salem, Oregon. Reach out to me, Danny Vega Graham, if you want to go to any of these shows, and I'll try to get you the info ASAP. And get this, folks, save the date. We're still getting our tickets lined up. July 14th and July 15th will be in Phoenix and Tucson, respectively. Yeah, I dropped a
right.
respectively there.
So
I did it.
please come out. Bring your friends. Bring your fam.
I gotta admit, I always like razz on like Tucson just because like if you're from Phoenix, it's normal. But
Tuce.
I am so excited to go to Tucson. I haven't been for ages, and I think it's beautiful. And they have a thing
Yeah.
there. The street lights are yellow because they want to preserve the night sky so you can still see the stars. And I love that.
that's
I actually really
sweet.
love it.
That's
I'm
nice.
making
I like
fun
that.
of
The
it.
last time I was in Tucson was for Arizona State versus University of Arizona football 2008. So it's been over over.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, so
long
you
time.
haven't been there since freshman year.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine you just go to Tucson and it's like New York City style metropolis, just wildly over.
Why do we shit on this
When did
place?
this happen? What's going on? There's a giant moat surrounding it. We're going to read a couple of submission rules here. AITA for not having sex with my GF. I-20F have been dating my GF 21F for 2 years now. About a year or so in, I started taking an SSRI, Zoloft antidepressant. And ever since then, it has slowly but surely killed my sex drive. I'm very attracted to GF, but I physically can't get in the mood. The feeling has just depleted me because of my medication. Lately, she's been slighting me about it, making comments like, it's been so long, and I never get anything. And this upsets me because I've told her about my situation and how her comments make me feel self-conscious. I've told her I do find her attractive and that I very much so love everything about her, but that my medication is preventing me from having any sort of libido. I have plans to talk to my psychiatrist, but AITA for lacking in the sex department. Great submish.
Yeah. Well, and I know mental health is obviously extremely important, and in most cases, I think it should always come first, maybe in all cases. But yeah, I think talking to your psychiatrist would be a good idea, and possibly like switching medications, because, you know, having a good and healthy sex drive is an important thing in life, not only for yourself, but I think also for your romantic partner. And
maintaining your ship is important to your own mental health.
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
totally.
And it's, I think too, in, 2 years, that's not a short amount of time, but it's still the formative stages of a relationship if you're planning on being with somebody for the long haul. And the sex life of that relationship is super important in those early years. So there needs to be some kind of, I don't want to say meet halfway, and because, I don't think there's anything wrong with you dealing with the fact that your sex drive is just getting knocked out by your medication. That happens, and it's a hard thing to deal with. So I think here it's about figuring out a way to make this work in the meantime, because I think that you can also be patient with this. You can find solutions and not expect an overnight fix, but in the meantime, find a way to keep everybody as happy as you can while you address this.
Yeah, I'm ready to go maybe a little hard. Now, I'm not ready to ding or anything, but OP, I do want to say that, this is kind of your responsibility here to handle this issue. It's pretty, I think, standard. Some people are, asexual, and that's a possibility. But in most relationships, I think having some kind of sex going is vital. It's vital. It's part of it.
And it seems like they were before this.
Of course. It's more vital, the earlier you are. I think, couples tend to
21 and 22. That's just,
of course,
you're in little dinosaur brain mode at that point when it comes to that territory.
Right. And there's a stereotype of dead lesbian bedrooms. That's something I've heard before. But even so, you got to be aware of your partner here. And I think Shannon posed a great solution here. Maybe another, I don't know what to prescribe, but I think OP just realized you shouldn't feel guilty, you shouldn't feel bad, but you got to take steps. I think that's really important, because what is your partner going to do? Force feed you Viagra? You're a woman. That won't do anything. But something like that, right? So it's I want to make sure that you realize that it's important for you to take this on, because it's your sex drive and it's a reasonable expectation, and you want to make your partner feel heard, and you're not meeting one of their needs, which is, I think, a very reasonable expectation.
Yeah. And I think in the meantime, while you're sorting out what kind of medication is going to get your sex drive back up, I think there are ways that you can please your partner without necessarily getting pleased yourself. Or maybe if you're not in the mood, you can still be servicing. Is that
Mouth
the right
game.
word? Yeah.
Mouth game.
I
Let's call it what it is.
I like servicing, because I think that is a very neutral, cold word, and I thought that's where we were going to disagree about this, because you guys kind of said that when we were going through this in the rehearsal of I think, having been in moments where my sex drive is zero, and let's be honest, it's probably because I, service myself a few times that day. It can be very hard to enjoy sex at that point. And I think if you literally have zero sex drive, it's hard to get into it. So I think that's something to experiment with and see how you feel about it.
But I think you can just be, lack of a better word, going down on your partner without you having to get into it. Because there's been
sure. Go ahead.
There's been times where I wasn't in the mood, but I knew my partner was, and I was okay, I'm just gonna TMI, but like go down on him and then I don't get anything in return because I'm not in the mood.
But over the course of that, didn't you get turned on at all? No. You were just totally neutral.
Yeah, I was just like doing a job. I was literally a blow job.
It was a service.
Yeah, it was total service.
See, I'm kind of I think I go a little bit farther than that, where even if I'm not in the mood, when I am doing that for a partner, I do get into it, but my own sex drive isn't necessarily affected by it. I get into basically performing for my partner. I want to worship them. I want them to feel like they are the most important thing in the world to me in that moment.
Right.
And I think that there is a way to get behind that. That's where your love, your affection, those different tiers of love, that's where it comes through, right?
Yeah.
Like you do love your partner physically. You're not necessarily having a physical drive at that moment.
Right.
But you can translate the love you have for that person into a different energy. And that's how you can get into it.
And also, from what you were saying, like, well, don't you get into it? Well, if that happens, then great.
Well,
if she gets into it, no,
I think it's
because
great. Look,
you can like, I can be like, I am so not in the mood at all, but then my partner and I like start fooling around and then I get in the mood. Sometimes you like emotionally just are like, I do not feel like having sex right now. But then once things get going and then you're like, oh shit, I actually am in the mood now.
But they won't have that, right?
No,
Because their
they
sex
might.
drive, I don't think so. Well, their sex drive is like chemically
It's
zero.
a chemical.
So
thing.
I don't think that you can't get it. It's just that you're not like craving it as often as you used to.
This is a pretty known problem. These people have zero sex drive. Look, I think it varies. It's a spectrum, etc. I love what Jake said. I think that's a great framework. Shannon, I think it's great that you did that, feeling nothing. That said, I'm just not ready to mandate that because I think some people, when they're not feeling sexual, it gives them the ick a little bit.
Meds can mess with
it. And like,
I mean, personally, like I have personal space issues. I had a lot of affection, nothing inappropriate, but I had a lot of affection forced on me when I was a kid. I didn't have a lot of autonomy about that. So it was a lot of like touching and that.
Oh, really?
So there's times there'll be like stretches for a few days at a time where like, you guys know I'm a hugger. I don't have any problems with
you're
that.
okay
But
with the
there
hugs.
are
Okay,
but there
that's
are
fair.
times where I'm just like, I'm very much a respect my space, please.
Back off.
And you can actually clock it. It's something people have noticed. Like when typically, if I'm in a conversation with somebody and they step into my space, I'm taking steps back because it's just like I really value my personal boundaries.
I think we're pretty lined up here. I think it varies per person. Nonetheless, OP, no dings, much love. You're in a tough situation. Hope it works out. AITA for not having sex with my GF. I think we're aligned. No assholes here.
Yes.
Yeah, no assholes here.
Another smish. AITA for being overly dramatic in the car with my SO. I'm 19F with my boyfriend, 19 male. We've been together for 2.5 years, and I like to believe we have a healthy relationship. Now, we're still learning boundaries, healthy behavior, so communication can be tough at times. I was driving the day I turned 16 and accidentally crashed and hurt my mom really bad, to the point where she succumbed to her injuries, and I haven't been able to drive since. My SO saved me from rock bottom and knows basically everything, but I have overreactions in the car. I try to stop myself from yelling or flinching or backseat driving because I know how dangerous that can be, but I can't always. Anyway, my SO started driving and messing with me in a parking lot and started driving directly into the direction of a light pole. I tried to hold down the panic, but he kept getting closer and I screamed. I got a little grumpy telling him that it scared me, which made him upset because he was just trying to play with me and I should have known nothing was going to happen. Anyway, I feel like I was an asshole because it's been 3 years, so I should have more control. AITA.
I am not a fan of your boyfriend.
Yeah, it's any time a vehicle is involved is not the time to fuck around.
No, especially when she has this insane trauma.
Yeah, that heightens it to an insane degree, but just baseline rule,
Yeah.
I will never get in a car again with somebody if they do
fuck
a
around.
thing.
No, it's not
No
funny.
car bits.
Yeah.
No car bits.
Because
yeah.
a bit can turn into a crash.
Totally. I'm with that. I think pranks in the car are big
Don't do
avoid
'em.
and you can get someone killed.
Don't
Very
do 'em.
dangerous.
No, I don't know why he would do this, especially when he knows what happened to your mother.
And OP, OP, I'm a little shocked that you're trying to point the gun at yourself here because, like, look, you are traumatized here. I think it's something to work on, something to look at in therapy, etc. But like, for your SO who knows what happened to play with that fire when he knows it's a fire, like, of course you're going to scream. It's
Yeah.
basically what he wanted you to scream, essentially. He was really being thoughtless and unempathetic.
I don't get him being cranky back at all. Like, yeah, your bit got the reaction you thought it was going to get, you doofus.
What did you think was going to happen, bro?
It's
and
ridiculous.
So, and he's turning it around on you, and he's playing the victim in this. Like, you should be mad at him. Like, I think you don't have to be mad at him if you don't feel that way, but I think you should need to talk to him about that and be like, please never do that again.
No playing in the car. I have car trauma.
And and it's funny because at the top of this situation when we were reading it, I was like, oh wow, 19. They're working on boundaries. They're focusing on having a healthy. This is great.
Yeah.
Oh, he's making car clown. He's a car clown.
I think it's an understandable mistake for a 19-year-old.
19-year-old dude trying to be funny. Like,
yeah.
I'll give you a pass on this one. But once it's communicated, like, yo, don't fucking do that. The second you do that again, man, like,
yeah,
what the fuck are you doing?
It gets to be common sense where you sense where people are touchy and you're like, but I think there's also a reverse impulse of a naive young person, which is like you sense the touch and you double down on the touch. No, touchy bad. Get away from the touchy area.
It's interesting that you say that because I never thought about it, but I had a lot of male friends who are like that, where it's just like, oh, I sense an energy on this. I'm not going to respect it. That's funny, right? This is something.
Yeah.
It's,
I don't know what that's made of exactly. Nonetheless, OP, huge miss on your boyfriend's side. Good luck processing this event. Sounds terrible. AITA for being overdramatic in the car with my SO. I think we're dropping a whopper. NTA.
He is. You are not being overdramatic either. Let's rewrite that.
All right, folks, we got one heck of a juicy ep for you today. Please rate, reviews, and subscribe. Join us on Patreon, patreon.com/AITA pod. I think we're edging up here on over 160 bonus episodes, vibrant Discord
That's
community.
a big boneyard.
Every single ep is completely ad-free. Shannon and Jake are now calling bonus episodes the boneyard, which I don't know if that helps our branding
I
at
think
all.
It does.
A lot of bones.
So,
you get that voice a lot on the bonus episodes now.
No, they're not going to join.
Oh boy. Our second story of the day is AITA for telling my 28 fiance 29 that I could not rely on her in a life or death situation. Ooh. But first, people, AITA for refusing to babysit my sister's kids. My F24 sister, F29, is in a tight spot. She got 2 kids, Ashley 6 and Matt 4. Her husband passed away in a work-related accident. I won't go into deets, but she got quite some money for his life insurance, and there's some other legal issues going on, and maybe she'll get more money out of that. Prior to the accident, she was a stay-at-home mom, but now, for obvious reasons, she needs to get a job. I don't have a regular job, so I'm free most days. Well, she asked me to babysit for her kids during the days. She said she'll pay me whatever I want. She said she found something that will pay her well, and she'll be able to keep their house and lifestyle and save the other money for her kids' future emergencies. I told her that I don't want to be a babysitter and to ask someone else. She told me that no one else can because her in-laws live in another state. Our brother and sister-in-law work too, and both our parents also have jobs. Basically, I'm the only one who's free during the days. I told her in that case she should send them to daycare, but she said that the kids aren't that well since the accident, and she would prefer if they can be babysat for family, at least for a couple months until they get used to the idea of losing their dad. Lastly, she told me if I could at least babysit for her in the morning, then her mom agreed to cut some hours so she can babysit during the afternoon. I told her that what they're going through is very sad, but I stood my ground about not babysitting. That's simply not what I want now. I told her that was the final answer and to stop calling me over that because I won't change my mind. She cried and called me an asshole. She went on and on about how hard her life is. She said that her kids cry all the time because of their dad and they need family now and how I should help her when I can. I told her that her kids are not my responsibility. She can ask, but I already said no, so she should drop it. Now, everyone in my family is angry at me. I am free most days because I work some nights. I don't work full time. However, that's not relevant. I don't pull all-nighters. I get home quite early. My job is not the reason I don't want to babysit. The reason why I don't want to help her is simply because I don't want to. I could babysit if I would want to, but I don't. AITA.
It's a very valid reason to not want to babysit. It's like take all the other factors out of the story out. It's very sad. There's a lot of things to consider about why people are feeling the way that they're feeling here, but it's not the obligation of anybody to babysit somebody else's kids. It takes a village, and any kind of, I think, stepping up here and willing to do it, that's a huge favor. That's a huge plus. But I think that it's unfair to kind of treat anybody in your family like they should just be on-call babysitters.
I'm struggling. I'm struggling with this one for sure because it does seem very cold. This does seem like quite an extenuating circumstance.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not cold, but
you're right though. They're sisters. They're 5 years apart. The kids are 6 and 4. We don't really know how long ago this was. It sounds like it was fairly recent though. That was my read. Is that ringing with you guys? Like a couple of months?
Oh, the dad passed away?
Yeah. It wasn't too long ago.
No, it doesn't seem like it was very long ago. And I think she just wants her to do it for a couple of months until they get used to the idea of losing their dad. So I think it was very recent, it sounds like. And I mean, I honestly do think it's you just sometimes have to take one for the team. And I don't like that she does have the time and she's going to get paid for it. And you have this time to spend with your niece and nephew and help them through this tragic time. I just think sometimes you have to step up to the plate with your family or people that you consider family.
And I don't disagree with that at all. And I think that it would be, I don't want to say I guess it kind of is the right thing to do, but in terms of just obligation, I don't think that you're evil for setting a boundary for yourself. I do agree with you that it's cold, and I do agree that I would absolutely step up and I would do this myself.
Yeah.
But I have a hard time condemning somebody else for having a boundary like this, and maybe I think you're a jerk, but shoot. Man, this is tough. I had to avoid saying asshole.
Yeah, Jake is dancing. He's
saying,
you're not evil.
You just used a synonym for it.
I know. I have this weird, complicated feeling where it's I can't say that it's wrong, and that's why I kind of opened up defending it, because I feel like it's very easy to look at this and be like, come on, babysit the fucking kids. Yeah. But there is a discussion to be had, I guess. But yeah, I am with you, Shannon. This is a perfect opportunity to step up.
Yeah, and you can be a hero, and you can feel good about yourself that you're there for your nieces and nephews.
But I don't think we can have our cake and eat it. If stepping up makes you a hero, then not stepping up wouldn't make you an asshole. That's the problem.
Then not stepping up wouldn't make you an asshole.
Yeah, if stepping up makes you a hero, then not stepping up wouldn't make you an asshole, right? That's a little bit extreme.
Are we all assholes for not saving people at 9/11?
Right.
That's a bad example.
Our 9/11 joke track record is not good. Yeah, take 2. Yeah, no, I'm with you guys. I think this is a toughie. We talk a lot about duty to family. We're talking here about duty to your sibling. These are extenuating circumstances.
You should want to do it, kinda.
Yeah, well, that I think is an interesting premise to raise. Why doesn't she want to do it? Because we didn't get a lot of background on what was their relationship prior.
Yeah, but don't you think that she would say it?
No, she said nothing. She didn't say we were always close.
Say it if they didn't get along.
Yeah, I think.
Well, I'm not saying they didn't get along. Maybe they just weren't that close.
A lack of information on that, but I agree with Shannon. Even if that was the case, she would specify it because it helps her argument. Yeah. Anytime we have a lack of information on something that would help the argument, and it's not there, I kind of read it as it's a non-issue.
Yeah. I don't think that's playing it as it lays.
Really?
I think it's unknown how close they were prior.
So we have to play it like
Why
it lays.
Why would they be that close, really? They have their own family system. I'm sure sister came around every so often. Don't you think she would mention if she was there weekly? She was there often?
I guess.
She met the kids. She knew the kids.
I think they're in the same town, right?
I think so, yeah.
So that's why I'm kind of I think playing it as it lays here is assuming that they have, for lack of a better term, average sister relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. What does average look like? To me, that says once a month-ish.
Sure.
Janet, you see your sister once a month? Well, she lives in Hawaii.
Yeah, she lives in Hawaii.
It's no good. Yeah, I'm with Boundary Town here. It hurts to say. I do want her to step up, but I'm kind of and we have in the past done the situation, right? Remember, I don't know if this was with you guys. There was a guy, this is bad. There's a guy who had a roommate.
Yes.
And she couldn't get a babysitter.
Oh, yeah, I was right.
Yeah.
That was bad.
And we did end up calling him an asshole, but that was also had a lot of urgency behind it. Whereas this is we're going through something hard now. Can you please help?
Yeah.
I think the other detail I'm struggling with is I'm like, well, she happens to be free during those times, but if she wasn't then she wouldn't even be faced with this quandary, right? So it's kind of by merit of her availability that she has to deal with this choice. That doesn't really feel like an asshole thing.
Well, she's free most days and she only works some nights. So it's like, why can't you just help out a little bit?
But if
just
she's
in the mornings, and not now, they're asking for is the mornings. So that's like
right, because mom
8
stepped
to
in
noon at the most, probably 7 to noon at the most, I guess. And so, yeah, I just think if she's just asking for a couple months, I could see it being like, well, if she asks for a couple months, it's going to turn into 6, going to turn into 9. Like I could see.
You give a mouse a cookie, you suddenly become a babysitter.
Yeah, so I can see her apprehension because she's like, I just feel like this is going to turn into more.
I gotta read.
Okay.
Younger sister, she's young. Older sister, already married, has kids. There's a pressure there that existed before. Pretty common, right? When are you going to be like your sister, Shannon? When are you going to have kids? I don't know if your sister has kids, but you know that. You know what I'm talking about, right? That trope.
I guess so, yeah.
No? You're not with me.
I mean, in some families, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty common, though. You know, women getting pressured to have kids and be married.
Younger in this day and age, like in your 20s, I mean, maybe in other parts of the world, but in my circle, like, I don't ever feel like anyone pressures anyone in their 20s to have kids anymore.
Oh,
yeah,
in LA.
I'm not quite with you on this. I don't quite think that's part of it. I think that this is really about rallying around the family who just experienced some loss. Yeah. I don't think it has a lot to...
No. What I'm saying, though, is that the 24F sister has gotten comments like that in the past, and that's why she's being so cold to this, because she has some lingering jealousy and resentment.
Yeah.
Because she has kids?
Because the sister's ahead of her and she better catch up.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's it.
Okay, that's fine. We can bail on that.
I think she's just 24 and wants to do whatever she wants. I think she just wants to do whatever she wants and party and have fun.
Yeah, well, that's not really that far away from what I'm saying either. She doesn't care. She doesn't care to help because she wants to do whatever the fuck she wants.
She's wrapped up in her own world. Like when I was 24, I was so wrapped up in my own world.
I think it's very fair, totally reasonable read. She fucking hates these kids. She thinks these kids are little gremlins.
12-day slate. Top comment. Probably unpopular. YTA. Your sister and her kids have been through massive trauma. It's understandable that she wouldn't want to just send them off to daycare. After years of your niece and nephew having their mom home all the time, they've just lost their dad and their mom is going back to work. They're 6 and 4. They don't fully understand and won't for some time. Definitely lined up there, but there are some NTAs here.
Okay.
Bacon Pan the Gathering, NTA. Daycare is better than spending all day with a family member that resents having to watch them. OP knows their emotional limitations, and pushing them to step up when they're clearly not in any kind of headspace to give kids what they need is detrimental to the kids' well-being. OP is being responsible and opting out. I'm rejecting that. I think you can create emotional bandwidth. OP didn't cite emotional bandwidth at any point. No. I'm just not with that take.
Yeah, she didn't give like any reasons besides just I don't want to.
Yeah, that is interesting, and that's where I open this up with the whole like boundaries aren't wrong thing, but I just have such a hard time dealing with the context of this. The context really changes it for me.
Yeah.
I think I'm kind of coming into something a little bit here. I like this comment a lot. We'll see if it can move any of us over. Oh, okay. I lost it and hit the wrong tab. That's gone now. We'll never find it. It's gone forever.
That was the key to the whole situation.
Here we go. Graham's nose. NTA. I think daycare may be better for the simple fact of getting out of the house. This would occupy the kids. Plus, if OP babysits a few months, then they go to daycare, it'd be another big change for the kids after just setting from losing dad and mom going back to work and combining that. I didn't like this either. You know what mom said? I would prefer. Oh, you would prefer. What would the kids prefer? Do the kids want to see this sister? Quite relevant information and probably what I would lead with if I were her. And for these reasons, I'm ready to say AITA for refusing to babysit my sister's kids. No assholes here. I'm not going to try to take.
Yeah,
I could go that way.
Yeah.
I still think she needs to step up, but I think because I do agree with that commenter And, you know, it would be nice to be hanging out with their friends, making new friends. And because, you know, they're definitely old enough to be like socializing. They're not like 2. And, but I do think like the sister and her could like have more of a conversation, and like she could be like, you know what, maybe it would be better if they're in daycare. Like, I don't know, just try and talk to her about it instead of just being like, nope.
Yeah, I think the rigidness that she's approaching this with, and not down to find any kind of solution.
Wait, who?
The OP
or both?
OP's being very
Because that's how
Both,
I feel
really.
too.
Yeah.
I feel like it kind of sounds like, but tell me if I'm reaching, that she didn't seduce the ask very much.
Right.
She was kind of like, you have free time, you can do this. I
Yeah.
prefer it, and it's like. I know she's grieving. I'm not blaming her. I'm not dinging on this note, but I'm like, I can see how someone would react like, no, I'm not doing that. You're trying to control me. I don't want to do it, you know? And I honestly think seducing the ask is a really big part of getting things, because when people feel like they're tools in your tool belt, they're going to be like, mm-mm.
Yeah, but I think OP also could have been a little bit more flexible and like, well, I can't do it every week. I can't do it with that much consistency,
or every
but I'm down to
day,
every day. I'm down to help you out where I can. I can take some days off the daycare. There should have been more conversation here rather than a hard no.
Bingo.
Yes,
No, I'm with that. That's a great way to
totally.
put it. There should have been more combo.
So if you're listening out there, try and chat with her about this.
I did walk myself into a wall where, like, I personally do think it's kind of asshole behavior to not do this, but that doesn't mean I think you're an asshole.
Well,
I think me personally is kind of like,
I think it's defining. I think this is a
Yeah.
defining moment for this ship.
Oh, yeah.
So I do think I like sometimes when we split off into practical versus ethical. I think this is an impractical decision on OP's behalf.
Yeah.
Unless they
Yeah.
have serious problems with their sister, it's like, this is a step up moment. This is a moment to step up. Your sister will always appreciate this and always remember this, and they will always remember when you
that
didn't.
Yeah.
If you don't want a relationship with your sister, that's chill, you know?
Yeah.
But I think this is going to be a definer for you. And I would definitely say on the practical side, this is a big, big miss. But I just can't bring myself to ding.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone can. Because you don't know your sister childcare. You don't. I'm not comfortable with that. AITA for refusing to babysit my sister's kids. I think we're aligned. No assholes here.
No assholes here unless
still-
those kids are a little shit.
Oh, boy. Their
Then they're
father
the
just
asshole.
died. Monster.
Hey man, they're out stealing cars. They're out putting sugar in
Yeah.
gas tanks. They're menaces.
Yeah. Well, as the manager of the Ghost, I can say the father is a great worker. The Burger Den is cranking out the best. All right, guys, we're going to move on here. Please rate, review, subscribe. Join us on Patreon, patreon.com/AITA pod. Over 150 bonus episodes, Discord. Talk to Jake, talk to Shannon, yell at me. We love to see it.
And follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And I just found something on my teeth. Was that in there the whole time? You didn't tell me?
This is not great radio.
We're not your dentist.
The hell, guys?
AITA. It was making me sick. AITA. You look disgusting for the last 2 hours. I was retching. AITA. Shannon, I can never look at you the same. AITA for telling my 28 fiance that I could not rely on her in a life or death sitch. I have what I think is a very good sense of situational awareness. I hate that as an opener. I'm a quick thinker and I tend not to panic in dangerous situations. My fiance, on the other hand, is the opposite. If I'm being nice, I would say she doesn't have any awareness of danger. If I'm being honest, I would say that she has a survival instinct of a panda raised in captivity.
Who said pandas don't have survival instincts?
They should be extinct. They're incredibly stupid.
bamboo, Jake.
Well, they're on their way.
She had no sense of danger around her, doesn't constantly examine her surroundings for things that could be dangerous. And when things are bad, her reaction is to panic and scream. Friday, we went on a friend of mine's boat. We got into a dangerous sitch. We were anticipating light rain, but we ended up in a downpour, high winds, high waves. While me and the other men there were trying to strap things down and keep the boat from capsizing, my fiance screamed and cried for dear life in hysterics. Look, I get it was scary, but her yelling and screaming that, quote, "We're all gonna die."
Oh my gosh.
And for God to save us, and literally crying, saying that it's my fault that she's on the boat since I asked her to come with. What? That's a very wordy thing, like, we're all gonna die and it's your fault that we're on this boat. Like, what? None of the other GFs or wives are doing this, just her. I'm sure the other women there were just as scared, but try to keep it in for the sake of the men doing something. The downpour was bad for about 15 minutes. So there were 15 minutes of wailing. Well, we are doing everything we can to keep things all right. We made it back safe with little more damage than a few spilled White Claws. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, come on. On the car ride home, I told my fiance that we needed to talk about how she was behaving during the crisis. Not only was it incredibly embarrassing in front of my boys, but it was distracting, unhelpful, and telling. I told her that today proved to me that if I was in a life or death sitch, I could not rely on her to be any help or do anything except make things more stressful. I said she needed to learn how to not panic and be helpful. She got unbelievably mad. She said she thought she was going to die and had reason to freak out. I told her that all of us were scared, but none of us were as ridiculous as she was. We argued the entire ride home, and she's still pissed. I think it was right to say this, especially since we plan on spending our lives together and raising a family, and I can't be the only level-headed one. And then OP has a long edit here about it not being sexist, that it was the men helping do the boat because the women had no know-how. So he was just referring to the fact that the men knew how to do the various boatery that they had to boat.
The boatery.
AITA.
The first thing that, like, just to get it out of the way, I hate the way that OP wrote this out. The OP wrote this out in a way where I feel like there's a lot of just, like, I feel like I would eye roll a lot if I was at dinner with this couple.
Yes,
I
I'm
don't
with
think that
you.
this is a fun couple to hang out
We
with.
opened with a whole paragraph of setup about how much better he is than her.
I'm basically a Marine.
Yep.
I didn't enlist, but I could handle a tornado. I could probably beat a bear in a fight. I can do anything. I didn't like any of that. That being said, anytime there's a crisis, anytime, and somebody literally shouts, "We're all going to die," that is inciting a panic, and you are creating an extremely dangerous situation. I don't like the way OP wrote this out, but if this is all exactly as it happened, if that panic that she broke down into during a dangerous situation, that is a very, very serious thing to subject other people to, because you could have wound up killing somebody with that reaction.
I think you're going too far at that last sentence, but that's fine. Shannon?
Yeah, it's really over the top. And, you know, I'm sometimes like in situations I'm not the best either because I get scared and panic. And actually most times,
Example, please.
so this one time whenever my mom eats carrots, she always ends up choking for some reason.
The one fucking like thing in the armor of the Shannon clan, carrots. Yeah. They can surf. They can hang glide. Ooh, get those yellow things out of here. We're all gonna die. We're all gonna die.
So for whatever reason, she always eats them and she ends up choking on them. So this one time it was just me and my parents were having dinner and she's eating carrots and she like starts doing it. She's not like fully choking. It's just like it's kind of in her throat. Like she's not like losing air, but it's like there's carrots in her throat.
Yeah, that's very unpleasant.
And she's like going like that. So I think she's really choking. And I just get up and I start running all around the house screaming. And my dad's like taking care of it. But I literally was like terrified.
You're running around the house like a chicken?
How old were you?
Like 24.
Oh no. Okay. I was ready to be like, if she was 14, I can
No, I was terrified and
The
so
running
scared.
is what. Now that I'm more on board for when Jake went all the way to you're endangering other people. I'm like, yeah, you're running around.
I can stand by that. I can stand by. We can circle back to that, but that is wild.
And then another time, Max, I thought he was choking too, and I almost ran out of our
You
apartment.
just left him?
And I was gonna go find.
This is what I'm talking about.
What is going on?
I was gonna go try and find someone to like help. You know,
She ran outside and was like, I'm starting a skateboard academy. Like, what the hell?
All right, granted though, both of those times I was high, so I was like extra paranoid. So I don't really know how I would act if I was like dead cold sober.
It is wild to me that Max is just like on the verge of choking. Shannon, help! Shannon!
And I'm out the door.
Yeah, you're gone.
I agree. Fire in a
But
crowded.
this is awful.
It's awful. Fire in a crowded movie theater can be very dangerous. You can incite a panic. This is a classic example of free speech. But here's where I want to go. We have OP build this case of how good he is. He's a Marine, as Jake summarized it beautifully. My issue,
Almost a Marine.
Almost a Marine, basically.
They didn't take me because I'm too strong.
Yeah,
I
like
thought I'd make the other Marines feel bad.
Green Beret. I'd be neon green.
So way different green than the other berets.
Such a good green.
I'm a black beret.
I'm
It's like a black belt.
Black what?
Black belt. Black belt beret.
Black belt beret.
Yeah.
So I let Jackie Chan ride me into battle. So whatever. He builds it up heavily, and I think there's a big takeaway here. I think this applies across the board. She had this huge reaction, okay? Traumatizing reaction. I think that's fair. Call it an overreaction, if you will. I am going to defend that this seemed like a very unfamiliar situation for her.
And boats are scary.
Boats are scary. Boats are not that common. There's no mention. I feel like this was maybe her second or third boat ride. Somebody had a big reaction. I think where I learned this in my things was stand-up. You know, somebody does a stand-up set and they bombed. It's going to hurt. That's going to hurt. It sucks. It's a bad thing. It's a bad vibe.
It hurts.
Here's what you're not going to do. Go up to them after the show and be like, we all bomb. We're not even ready to acknowledge that happened.
Right.
They need time to digest that. It's
They
a hard
can bring
thing.
it up if they want.
Exactly. That's not a bring it up that day kind of thing. When I had an incident where my opener threw the show, I didn't tell him that day that I had some notes on his set. I waited.
Right.
This fucking guy brings it up. Mr. Situational Awareness is go after she's traumatized, and I think we can all agree she was having adrenaline, cortisol. He's gonna bring up on the way home. We need to talk about how you acted. Oh, honey, you are not ready, OP, to do that. First of all, because
you're still hot.
You're way too hot.
You're way too
Calling
hot.
it embarrassing? Relevance,
Not
Your
helpful.
Honor.
Not
Relevance.
And I do think I want to come back on this guy because and I'm sure our listeners heard this, but I do think that there is some latent, if not louder than latent sexism here, just some chosen words that he has. I don't think that it's sexist to report that the women are not boat savvy and the men are. I don't think that's the sexist part. The sexist part to me is how gendered everything in his reporting is, and then the use of "you embarrassed me in front of my boys." That's the part where I think that there is some very like old school gender roles in this guy's mind. I can run with you on that. And this is where, and I'm gonna stand by this. I 100% agree with you. The way he's gone about this has been completely wrong. He wasn't in the right in how he approached it at the end. But I am going to stand by, like, yeah, she's not familiar with the boat. She's not familiar with any of that. You're an adult person and you need to have it. This is the point. This is why panic is killed. This is why panic kills, because if you just go with the excuse of, well, I'm not used to this situation, then you can make any fucking situation worse. You need to keep yourself level.
Okay, I'm with you there.
You need to keep yourself level.
You can make it worse. She made it worse.
She
I'm
made
with you
it
there.
way worse.
I made it with. I'm
but
with
shouting, "We are all gonna die," could incite everybody else in that boat who's not familiar with this situation to then start making it worse. And then if somebody starts panicking, their feet aren't planted, they're not aware of their surroundings, then somebody goes overboard. Now this is
grabbing onto the men that are trying to fix it and like shaking them or something.
Better. I was in a life-threatening situation on a small fishing boat in the Sea of Cortez in Baja. I was 10 years old. I was out with my dad, my aunt's husband at the time, my mom's dad, grandpa, and our really good family friend who lives down there and had the boat. And this is not a big boat. This is like an off-board motor. We're Sea of Cortez. These are 7-foot swells.
Ooh.
Boat motor cuts out. We are adrift for 9 hours.
No.
9 hours.
No.
And you know what every single person on that boat did with the 9-year-old on board? Stayed totally fucking calm.
I thought you were 10.
The 10, 9.
I lost a year, dude. You don't understand. I lost a
9,
year.
10. It was. I was in the 4th grade, so I think that was 9, 10 years old.
Yeah, you have to stay calm.
And they stayed cool as a cucumber. My aunt's husband at the time, to this dude's credit, he was in the water getting electrocuted trying to fix the boat motor. And he just kept fucking plugging at it, and he finally got it to go. He had to take breaks and shit. But there's the point where I realized as a child of like, oh, this is serious, is when a small shark went by and everybody started going to catch it so that we had some source of food on board. Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah.
That was
9 hours. It started to be like, how long are we going to be here?
So we wound up getting back to shore and everything, but no one on that boat lost their cool, even though in retrospect it was like, there was a lot of like, this is bad.
Yeah. Just anytime that anyone panics, it's going to make everyone around you panic. Like my mom, she, for whatever reason, has such an overreaction about everything in life. Like she'll literally be like, and then we all turn and we're like, oh my God, what happened? She goes, I forgot to call Uncle Jimmy back.
That would drive me insane.
And it's like, oh, we can't stand it. Yeah. And it literally, we're always like, Mom, the way you overreact, we all think that you just saw someone throw a baby from a 10-story building. So you are inciting us to have adrenaline
specific
and
you.
like and now we're panicked.
Yeah.
So we're mad at you because you make us feel extremely on edge over nothing.
Right.
And we always try and explain it to her. And I know you're listening, Mom, so get it in your noggin.
Are you reading
Don't do this.
Are you reading about Eric Clapton recently? That was a very oddly specific thing.
Did he do that?
Oh yeah, you don't know.
He threw a baby off a building?
No, his baby fell out of a building. It's
yes.
horrible.
Oh yeah, that's I forgot about that.
Yeah, I shouldn't have brought it up. Listen, I think look, I'm with you. Panic kills. I'm comfortable with this phrase. I don't think in this context necessarily, but you're right. I mean, you're right. Other people could get worked up. Panic kills. I'm very comfortable with that phrasing. I'll say this. I think this, you are responsible for your behavior. Now, not everybody, I'm not ready to sit here and be like, look, some people are touchy like that. We were talking about this in a recent episode. Mm-hmm. Some people can't do scares. Some people overreact to scares. Yeah. It's just someone going, boo! And they're like, ah! Running around the house because their mom's choking on a carrot. Like, I'm not going to say, but I will say this. If she knows that boats and other, I think boats are uncomfortable for a lot of people. I think compared to a plane, compared to a bus. So I think the answer is, I ain't going on any boats anymore or whatever it may be. You are right, Jake. She did something bad. I'm not ready to say it's asshole-ish, but I think it was. She needs to realize she made the situation worse. I'm with you there. And because of that, she needs to be responsible for that behavior.
I think because this is the only documented case we have of her behaving like this, right?
He didn't mention any others.
No, he alludes like it is. I don't like OP at all. I don't like this guy. I don't like the cut of his chin.
He did say that she has no, she does react.
He says that.
No, hold on. He abstracts it, and I think in a move of puffery, he does not cite a single specific other example.
Yep. And that's where I feel like this guy is. I feel like this guy is misogynistic on some level.
I don't know. I think that this is like a ongoing thing, and he's just like, this is the last straw where it's like, oh my God, you almost like risked our lives
other
because
examples.
You cannot. No, I think it's a last straw.
I think this
thing.
is a man driven by ego. I think that's coming out as misogyny.
You embarrassed me in front of my boys.
Bingo.
I don't like the way he's talking either.
He's a fucking egotistical asshole. He found the move here to have the moral high ground, which we do agree that there is to some extent a lesson for her. There is a lesson for her, 100%. But the way he approached this, how he handled this, was driven by ego. It was short-sighted, as you said. Mentioning the boys was about appearance. Why don't you talk to your fucking kids?
Yeah, I don't think he was worried about the danger of the situation. That's where he and I differ on this.
Okay.
I think he's worried about the optics, and that is so fucking insane to me that you were in a life-threatening situation and you're worried about looking cool.
Yep.
What the fuck is wrong with you, dude?
True.
And here's the other thing, and this is why I always say about reporting, throwing this word telling. Oh, it was telling what you did. It was, what is that really saying? It was indicative of a deeper flaw.
Yeah.
Fuck you, OP. Get off your moral high horse for these reasons. I think we agree. The wife panicked. It wasn't good. She needs to be responsible for that. But AITA for telling my 28 fiance, 29, that I couldn't rely on her in a life or death situation? I am pulling for YT fucking A, dog.
I'm down with a YTA as long as we're in agreement that this is a one-time pass for the partner. And I would hope that this is a come to Jesus moment for her where she realizes like, wow, fuck yeah, I gotta chill a little bit in a situation
I gotta
like that.
chill or avoid situations like that.
Right,
Yes.
right. But he is clearly far and away the asshole in this situation.
Yeah, and I think once everything calms down, they can have a more level-headed conversation about it.
Yeah.
And that's what he should have done. And that's where I'm like, dude, you don't know what to do in a panic. You're having an emotional panic and you're going off in the car on the way home.
I love that.
Instead of just breathing through and then a day, 2 days, 3 days later saying, hey, can we talk about what happened on the boat?
Right, because she is traumatized. Like she's probably like having some serious.
I'm gonna push back on this. I think that her panic made this way worse for herself.
Yeah.
If she had just taken a step, and I think every adult in the world has a responsibility that when you are in a potentially dangerous situation to not do this. I think that kids have a pass. kids have a pass because they're kids and they don't know what's going on. You're an adult. You should know at this point in your life that's like, okay, what do we say every time when it's like, don't panic? That's the first thing people say.
Rule. But I don't think everyone is I don't think everybody is built like a Navy SEAL. I think people can have personalities. Like I said,
I'm not asking to be built like a Navy SEAL. I'm asking you to be built like a thinking human being who knows that if I start shouting, we're all going to die, somebody might die.
And don't run out of your apartment when your partner's choking.
Yeah, that's a big one.
That was you, though.
I went to go get help.
That dick.
So we agree, though. YTA.
Yeah,
We're lined
YTA.
up. Love it. All right, folks. Please rate, review, subscribe. Join us on Patreon. Patreon.com/AITA pod. Here we go. We're going to wrap things up here on... Shannon, you want to take this puppy?
Sure.
Feel good?
Yes.
Here we go, folks.
AITA for refusing to take my girlfriend to nice places because she eats like a kid. My girlfriend is an incredibly picky eater. Like I said in my title, she eats like she is 10 years old. In fact, I'll give a short list of things she refuses to eat. Unflavored water, fish, anything with bones, cheese other than sharp cheddar, spinach, onions, garlic, pasta without red sauce, eggs, spicy food, aioli, ketchup, potatoes, besides french fries, pastries, fruits, citrus, sausages, and any non-American food. This compares to me, someone who grew up in multiple different regions of the US and lived abroad for a few years. So I'm a bit more adventurous when it comes to food. Whenever me and my girlfriend go out somewhere nice, she ends up getting the same meals, which is either a burger or chicken tenders and fries. We could be going to an authentic Nepalese restaurant and she will get the french fries and white rice. To me, it's kind of embarrassing to go to a restaurant where there is a dress code and for her to order chicken tenders and fries. It especially bothers me that since I typically pay, I end up paying $15 for chicken tenders that I could get from the freezer section at Walmart for $5.
There's a markup on the food? What? I think that's pretty common across dishes.
Yeah, that's so true. Recently in our area, a very nice dinner place opened up and my girlfriend has been dying to go. I took a look at the place and the menu and saw it looked nice, but the food was kind of pricey. She said she was going to get chicken tenders as per usual. I asked her, what's the point of going then if I can toss some tenders in the air fryer for her and not spend a ridiculous amount of money on it? She asked why I have an attitude about this, and I told her that I thought it was a waste of time and money to go to a nice place to get little kid food. She interpreted this as me calling her a little kid. I clarified that I wasn't calling her a child. However, it is kind of childish for her to eat the food the way she does. I also said that if she's going to order food, we can make it home. There's not any point in us going anywhere. This led to an argument about me thinking I'm better than her. AITA?
There's a little death in the relationship here, just in the exchange that he just had. What's the point of us going to nice restaurants if you're not gonna? This is heavy shit for OP, and you're already resigning your happiness in the relationship here, in this conversation that you're sharing with us. Of what's the point of us even going to restaurants?
That's rigidity masquerading as practicality.
Yep.
What's the point? Well, don't you enjoy the food? Okay.
Don't you enjoy my
that's
company?
one point.
Don't you enjoy my company?
What about the
Exactly.
ambiance? What about all the other aspects of the restaurant? It's actually you who is reducing the nice experience to just
the
food.
food.
And by the way, not all chicken tenders are created equal. I've had some chicken tenders that blew my socks off.
You
Bowery
can
Hotel.
get world-class chicky tenders.
Dude, Bowery Hotel, Alex's
Yeah.
wedding. Shout out Alex. Thanks for supporting us on Patreon. That shit was freaking fire.
Yeah.
Legendary. So
Totally. It's not about what you buy. Like, actually, because I was thinking about you, because you and Jackie like went shopping the other day as a little date, and I was like, oh, that kind of sounds like a fun date. Like, just the experience of it. And it, like, so say if you didn't buy anything, it doesn't mean that the date wasn't a good time having fun with your partner.
No, that was actually the exact situation. Was the shops we stopped in, Jackie didn't see anything that was for her. I lucked out, had just one of those days where it was like, whoa, everything here is up my alley. But we had a great time. We walked around, we talked, we got to know each other a
You
little
were
bit
enjoying
better.
each other's company.
Walked around World Market, had a great time in that crazy place.
I love that. Here's where I see OP. I personally want this. You know, I don't want to be going out to restaurants and with someone who won't share. That's why I'm again falling for Shannon, because she shared her burger with me last night. And by the way, we'll never eat like that again, sweetheart. So we're not going to the fucking burger net. No.
I understand his standards. I think maybe he's starting to get a grip on this is incompatibility. I mean, look, I think this is a little thin to build a relationship on, having kind of done this, like me and this girl I was with. We really did this a lot. This was our thing, to go out and eat and experiment and have interesting dishes and cuisine. I think it's not really enough. Like, I think, like, you guys know, I want my snow gal. I think you got to find multiple things to keep it going. I mean, Shannon, you would know, 9 years, you guys probably have a lot of different activities. You got to diversify.
Yeah.
So I understand his need here. I think the problem is he is trying to dictate this out, and I don't think that's fair or respectful.
Oh, yeah.
And I think he's trying to back off it. And look, I do agree that it's childish. I
Definitely.
do. But if you're with someone, that's who they are, dog.
Yep.
And you better not call it childish to them. Like, personally, I find it childish. It's very closed off to new experiences. I don't like it. That's my preference.
You have to decide if you love this person enough where this is something that's just a part of who they are. You don't have to like it. You don't have to dislike it. You just have to accept it.
You have to accept it.
This is part of who they are.
Perfectly put.
And
Perfectly put.
It doesn't sound like you're down with that. Y'all know him about the communication. I think he's communicating on dog shit tier here. He's not going
With
about
you.
this the right way.
1,000,000%.
And really, again, like, and I'm kind of reading between the lines here. I think this is also partially about optics. I think he cares what other people think when he sees her ordering, and that's affecting his ego.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a read on my part, but I
Again,
stand by it. I think that is kind of the drive here for him, at least on some level.
No, I agree with that too. And again, I just don't understand when people care so much what strangers think about them. I mean, of course, you don't want them to think you're an asshole or treat them poorly, but when it's something that has nothing to do with them, who cares what your waitress thinks?
I think he's being really myopic. I don't know if I'm with you 100% on this being an ego thing. We don't have ages, unfortunately, but I do think I hope they're young.
You know what's weird? 84 and 92. I saw it in the comments.
I think she's cooked in that case, bro.
She can eat whatever she wants.
She ends up living to 143. Chicken tenders are the secret.
This is the secret. No deviations.
Chicken tenders and whiskey.
And 1 cup of canola oil a month.
So, yeah, I really think... I don't think she's doing anything dingable. Those are her tastes. When I say they're childish tastes, I would. Not to her face. She's allowed to
This isn't like other picky eaters that we've talked about, where she isn't inconveniencing anybody else. She just likes
That's a great point.
The picky eaters we've had where we're more conflicted, it's always an ask on somebody else, or it's always rejecting food somebody else
She's
made.
like, I'll go and get tendies.
Yeah,
Great.
This is very
Get
simple.
the tendies.
And going back to what you kind of made a comment when I was reading it is why should I pay $15 for chicken tenders when I can just grab it at the freezer section? Well, okay, if you get a steak, you get the steak for way less at Walmart.
Yeah,
there's going to be a markup anyway.
Did you get rice? Did you get rice at the Nepalese place? Well, wait till I tell you about the markup on rice. It's like 1,000%. No.
He just called out the entire restaurant industry without realizing it. I'm like, why are we doing this?
Yeah, exactly.
It's absurd. I got 0 dings on her. Like I said, my personal pref, not attractive to me.
Totally. And I do understand that. But again, this is how your partner is. Like, I think it would suck. Like, you want to experience the food together. Like, I can see why he doesn't like it.
There's some people who this is their favorite thing, is to go out and have a consumptive, culinary experience. And if that's the case, this is incompatibility. No problemo. Get out of it if that's your energy. Otherwise, like I said, diversify your things, whatever it may be.
See if she would be willing to try some stuff. I don't know, but it might be a incompatibility thing.
Also, he didn't give any props to chicken tenders. I would have appreciated just one line. She does always get chicken tenders, which are pretty much the best food ever.
And French fries. Come on.
I would like to. Could I read? I'd like to do my version of him reading off the food that she won't eat.
Jake's version of him reading off the food that she will not eat. This, I guess,
where's
is
the situation go?
Her short list of things that she won't eat.
Has this ever happened to you? A girlfriend who won't eat the following foods: unflavored water, fish excluding fried shrimp, anything with bones, cheese other than sharp cheddar, spinach, onions, garlic, pasta without red sauce, eggs, spicy food, aioli, ketchup, potatoes other than French fries, pastries with fruit, citrus, sausage, or any non-American foods? Then Jimmy's Picky Eater for You can help you. narrow.
It's so narrow. I am like, it's borderline
It's absurd.
xenophobic.
Yeah, why? I ain't gonna eat no non-American foods. What's that? Poutine? You mean from America's hat? Get it out!
I would be like, this is like approaching racist, but the fact that eggs got hit here, ketchup caught a stray, I'm like, it's just so fucking
I want to
narrow-minded.
know if she's down for mayonnaise and not aioli. That feels like problematic behavior.
I don't want a mayonnaise derivative. I want pure mayo.
I need really weird, lumpy-looking mayonnaise. I don't want smooth aioli.
Citrus also catching a stray. Like, it's just so
We're
narrow.
not here to dunk. She's not inconveniencing anybody with these choices. I feel bad for her tongue.
She came for water. Are we skipping that, guys? She's like, water? Nah.
said water?
Yes, she refuses to eat unflavored
said
water.
unflavored
Oh,
water.
ew.
But I like that they had to qualify. I'll drink water that's been flavored. Well, that's not really water,
How
is
about
it?
water, the source of all life? Ugh, tastes like nothing.
You got
That's-
surged.
I know.
You
There's
got
a
surge
lot
back
of
there.
people that feel that way, and it's wild to me.
I was like that when I was a little
God, they
kid.
must be so dehydrated.
When I was a little kid, I didn't like flat water, but then I think like right around like high school.
Well, that makes it
changed.
sound
You still
rich.
don't.
It makes it sound
What?
like you like
he loves his
sparkling.
bubbles.
Oh, I do love the bubbles, but I like flat water.
I
now,
can
too.
live with the flat water
Yeah, you kinda
distinction.
have
It's
to
when you
have
cross into it needs to be flavored. I'm like, you're
Yeah.
dehydrated.
Propel. Do you guys remember Propel?
Oh, I was the biggest Propel fan.
What is
Gatorade
Propel?
put out water. Gatorade put out a
But it's flavored?
It's like lemon and
Electrolytes,
orange.
and the berry was
That's like
It has the
light-
stuff
light
your body
foot.
craves. But that was the
And craves?
That was the slogan,
It's
I
from
think.
it's from Idiocracy, but it should have been.
Yeah, it's got electrolytes.
It's what plants crave.
yeah,
But
yeah,
Propel should have been like, it's got the electrolytes, what your body craves. But yeah, Gatorade put out water, and that's still just insane to me.
This is ridiculous. This girl's ridiculous. I personally, I think it's unacceptable for me, and it would be incompatibility for me unless she's a big snow girl, which, by the way, the lodge has good tendies, lady. Nonetheless, I think we are all aligned here. AITA for refusing to take my girlfriend to nice places because she eats like a kid. On the title, literal, I am also saying YTA, but it's mainly for the way he communicated this.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, y'all, that's the app. Thanks so much for listening. Much love, and we'll see you next time.
And remember, if your partner won't eat any foods that you think are good, call us and we'll berate them for you. Bye.
I'm gonna go have a carrot.
No, Shannon, don't do it.
She's running around like a chicken with her head cut off. Get the fire extinguisher.